Russia is undergoing a significant shift in its nuclear doctrine. This shift is driven by a confluence of factors, most notably the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. In September 2025, President Putin announced key changes, expanding the role of nuclear weapons in Russia's security strategy. These changes are still being formalized, but initial reports suggest a more assertive and potentially destabilizing approach to nuclear deterrence. One of the most notable changes is the explicit inclusion of Belarus under Russia's nuclear umbrella. This follows the deployment of Russian tactical nuclear weapons to Belarus earlier in 2025. This move heightens tensions in Eastern Europe and raises concerns about the potential for miscalculation or escalation. Furthermore, Russia has lowered the threshold for nuclear weapon use. Previously, the doctrine stipulated that nuclear weapons could only be used in response to an existential threat to the Russian state. The new doctrine broadens this to include any critical threat to our sovereignty. This vague language introduces ambiguity and increases the risk of misinterpretation. Adding to these concerns, Russia has indicated a willingness to target third parties with nuclear weapons. This is widely seen as a veiled threat towards NATO members providing military support to Ukraine. By expanding the potential targets of its nuclear arsenal, Russia seeks to deter further Western involvement in the conflict. To fully grasp Russia's evolving nuclear posture, consider the historical context. The 2020 doctrine emphasized a defensive approach. The 2022 Ukraine invasion marked a turning point. Russia has repeatedly invoked nuclear threats. This has heightened global anxieties. The expiration of the New START Treaty in February 2026 marks a critical juncture in U.S.-Russia nuclear relations. This treaty, signed in 2010, was the last remaining pillar of arms control between the two nuclear superpowers. It limited each side to 1,550 deployed long-range nuclear warheads, a significant reduction from Cold War levels. However, the treaty's future has been in jeopardy for several years. In February 2023, Russia formally suspended its participation in the treaty, citing U.S. support for Ukraine as the primary reason. This suspension halted mutual inspections of nuclear facilities and hampered communication channels between the two countries, further increasing mistrust and the risk of miscalculation. The United States, while expressing disappointment over Russia's actions, has also raised concerns about Russia's compliance with the treaty. In January 2025, the U.S. government publicly questioned whether Russia was accurately reporting its nuclear forces under the treaty's verification regime. These accusations, while denied by Russia, have further strained relations and cast doubt on the future of arms control. The expiration of New START without a replacement agreement could trigger a new arms race between the U.S. and Russia. Both countries possess vast nuclear arsenals and have the capacity to rapidly increase the number of deployed warheads. Section 4. Global Nuclear Landscape, the U.S., China, and others. The evolving nuclear landscape extends beyond the U.S.-Russia rivalry. China's rapid nuclear modernization is reshaping global dynamics. China's growing arsenal raises concerns in Washington. The U.S. may shift its nuclear policy in response. In June 2024, Biden hinted at expanding the U.S. arsenal. This could spark a global nuclear arms race. China shows little interest in trilateral arms control. Beijing claims its arsenal is defensive. Lack of transparency fuels anxieties about China's intentions. Other global players are closely watching. India and Pakistan are vulnerable to a renewed arms race. Section 5. Risks and Future Outlook. The convergence of these factors, Russia's evolving nuclear doctrine, the expiration of New START, China's nuclear modernization, and the U.S. response, has created a highly volatile and uncertain global security environment. The risk of nuclear miscalculation, accident, or even intentional use has increased significantly. International efforts to revive arms control dialogue and reduce nuclear risks face significant obstacles. Mistrust between the major nuclear powers is at an all-time high, and existing communication channels have been severely hampered. Moreover, the complex geopolitical landscape, marked by great power competition and regional conflicts, makes it challenging to find common ground on nuclear issues. The future of global nuclear security hinges on the ability of states to manage these risks and find ways to cooperate on arms control. Failure to do so could have catastrophic consequences for humanity. The international community must prioritize dialogue, diplomacy, and a renewed commitment to nuclear disarmament